Okay, so here I am in my basement music room, hiding away from everyone. I thought I would make this little video for you especially, so that you could have a good idea as a parent of a beginner student or just a parent of any piano student, what to expect from lessons, because this is a main concern I think a lot of parents have. They come in, they have no idea what to expect. The child doesn't have any idea what to expect. They're kind of flying blind, especially if they've never had piano lessons before themselves. So if you've had lessons, you know that I probably will be talking a lot about practice and how important that is. But I think maybe our experience with our own parents was different. Certainly mine was. And so I thought it would be really good for me to outline my expectations as a teacher so that you have a better idea of what I'm getting at. We'll be on the same page. I think it'll just be a really much better experience for everyone if you know what I'm hoping for from you. I also want to debunk a couple of myths that surround lessons, because that's really important, and I want you to give you some tips on how to get your child to the piano every day and do the practicing, hopefully without too much hassle. So these are my expectations. Very quickly, I expect your child to practice every day and for you to support that. So that's 5 days a week. Okay, I'll get into that a little later. The next two are pretty easy, hopefully for you. On time for your lesson, hopefully 5 minutes early. Okay, that way your child has a chance to come in, get their coat off, their boots off, put their, get their stuff organized, and they have to go to the bathroom. They can go to the bathroom before their lesson so that we're actually getting the full benefit of the 30 minutes. This is even more important now because I'm back to back lessons. So when your 30 minutes are up, there's probably another student waiting in the wings to come in, and we want that changeover to be quick and easily done. And I do plan lessons like that. So if you're 5 or 10 minutes late for your lesson, you're only going to get a 20-minute lesson. I will stop on time because it's not fair to the next person to have to wait 10 minutes because you were late, right? And also, and this is a big thing, you need to know what books they're supposed to bring. Now, after you've taken lessons for a year or two, you might have a few books lying around home. So you can't just go in and grab whatever and bring it to the lesson. So many times I end up with the wrong books. And I'm like, oh, what are you thinking? Like, they're not in this book. They finished Lila Fletcher book 1 2 years ago, and you brought it as this week's lesson? Do you not have a clue what your kid's doing? Maybe this is one of the reasons things aren't going well and they're not progressing, is because you don't know what books they're in. You're not aware. So you should know the books they bring. And yes, we work at creating that independence, that they get their books together and they know what they have. But it shouldn't be all on them. A lot of these kids are 6, 7, 8 years old. They just don't get it. They don't have the brains for that yet. So don't expect more of them, right, than you should. I think that's one thing. So these are things parents need to do. Okay, so the two last ones, knowing the books, being on time for your lesson, no-brainers really. And most of you, I would think, would do that. The practice, though, this is a big thing, and I know parents struggle with it. So these are my expectations with regard to practice. We start with 15 minutes of practice every day, 5 days a week as a general guideline. For 6-year-olds, this is appropriate. But as children progress in age, more is expected. So we work to change 15 minutes into 30 minutes. If you're 8 or 9 years old, this should happen rapidly. By Christmas time, your 8 or 9-year-old should be practicing 30 minutes a day. And if you are 10 and up, if your child is 10 and up, I expect that they're going to do 30 minutes every day, basically from the start. That's it. Maybe the first few lessons, maybe not so big deal, but they've got to get to 30 minutes fast. All right. So we have to do minimum of 3 repetitions of each song that they are assigned. 5 is best. And although we have the time as a guideline, the time isn't so important as the repetitions. So if they can have 3 songs and they are really working hard and they only do 10 minutes of practice, but they get their 3 songs done and they come to their lesson and they're doing really well, they can handle more songs. I can get them back up to 15, 20 minutes of practice easily, okay? But if they aren't doing their practice, it's gonna take longer, right? So, and some kids just need that more relaxed pace, and they just need a little more time to get it in their head and do it. But we need to make sure that those repetitions are attentive repetitions, right? Not just bang, 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 and I'm done. But do the repetitions. The first time it goes in, the second time the first time you sort of go, oh, well, I guess I recognize that song from my lesson. Second time, oh yeah, I think I get it. Third time, oh yeah, I'm getting it. I think I can do it. Fourth time and fifth time simply are really good. I don't know. They just settle it in our heads more. So we do 3 reps of each piece, and then go back and do 2 reps of each piece. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm expecting for the amount. I get kids come in and say, I only did it 1 time. That's not going to do anything. So we're looking for over 5 days of practice times 5 times each song, is each song gets practiced 25 times. That's just the way it goes. Okay. You don't have to practice on lesson day. They can go over their stuff if they have time and they want to. And you get 1 other day off per week. They don't have to take it off, but it's great if they get a break. It can be Sunday usually. That's a good time to do it. Or maybe it'll be another day. Okay. You need to make sure they practice the day before their lesson and the day after their lesson. Because the day before they're prepping for the lesson, the day after they're reinforcing what I told them in the lesson. Okay. So here are a few myths. Number 1. This is an activity that I just drop my child off at. And they just do it. And I don't have anything else to do with that. They just do it. Like soccer. It ain't like soccer. Sorry. This is a group activity. This is a parent-child activity. Because when they get home, they're going to be depending on you to help them to do their stuff, right? So it is a parent-child activity. So although their lesson is theirs, and I'm actually teaching them, at home you have to support it. You have to actually do the work at home with them, okay? Another myth is, well, if they're having fun, they're just going to go practice on their own. And no, not going to happen. Now, only exceptionally for a child that is really kind of gets it and understands at a young age. For myself, I was one of those kids. I get that. I was just like that. I had very strict parents. And I knew once I decided to do piano that I better get my butt in there and do it. Because I had 2 older sisters and I had seen the fighting and the anger and the blah. I did not want that. So I wanted to learn piano. I did the practice. Yep. On my own. But most kids aren't like that. It's very, very, very rare that a child will do that. So I can provide the fun in the lesson when they're practicing and they're achieving something. Otherwise, they're going to hear from me, well, you do need to do the practice, right? But it's your job at home to provide the fun. And I will give you ideas on how to do that, okay? All right, if I tell them to practice, they will just go do it. No, they're not going to do that. They don't even understand the concept of practice. At 6 years old, they don't get it. They don't understand the concept. Okay? So you have to teach them that concept. It would be similar to us, adopting a child from a third world country that has never seen a toothbrush, and we hand them the toothbrush and say, go brush your teeth. They're not going to know what to do. They're going to go, what? What do you mean? Like, brush my teeth? I don't get it. What am I supposed to do with this? Right? Kids who are six, do not know what practice means. They have no idea. Even, there's a lot of adults don't even understand that concept of actually practicing and working at something to be successful. Okay? All right. So another one that I hear a lot, and you probably have heard it too, oh, your child is so talented. Talent dictates success. No, talent does not dictate success. Work dictates success. Okay? And here's my little, I hope you can see this. Success. It's a circle. Okay? So here's the talent. Whoops. Here's the talent here. Okay? Everybody's given a certain amount of talent. We have no idea how much talent someone has until they start to actually work. When they start to work, then this starts to reveal itself. Okay? And as a teacher, this is my job. I only see them 30 minutes once a week. I can't provide the fun at home. You wouldn't want me living with you. And, you have to support this. So I'm only a very small amount, and maybe I even have that drawn a little bit too big. Okay? But this is what happens. If they're doing the work, this is used to its utmost. Okay? If they're doing the work, this talent part tends to get bigger and expand a little bit more. And it starts to grow, right? And this teacher part, if they're doing the work, gets used to its utmost. Okay? They're not doing any work. They come in and they haven't done anything all week long. I can only do I'm going to use my finger and try and do this. Oof. Okay, that's about how much you're getting out of your money with me. Because what am I going to tell them to do? Well, I'm going to tell them they need to go home and work. How much of this talent actually gets used? Pretty much zero. Okay? Because we can't find the talent till we do the work. I think that makes sense. Okay? And I think that is something that needs to be realized by people coming for lessons. Okay? So, the last thing is that music is a language. It is an entirely different language than English, much like Russian is a different language from English, right? So in Russian, if you speak Russian or you know anything about it, you have an entirely different alphabet. Totally different. You don't have a clue. There's no clues in it. If you compare French and English, there's words that are similar. I can pretty much figure out mostly what's being said. With the little bit of French that I have and my knowledge of Latin and my knowledge of English language, I can pretty much figure out what's being said in German, in Spanish, and in French. Any of those Latin-based languages. However, you give me Japanese, you give me Russian, I'm done. There's no way I have a clue. Google, try Finnish. We were just there, and it's crazy. Even though the letters are the same, there's double letters, and I have no idea how they manage that. So it's a language. It has to be used every day in order to become fluent. Just like you want your child to be fluent in French, you're going to try to speak to them in French, or you expect that the school will do their job and make sure that they're actually speaking in French every day. So we read it, we write it, it's different. language entirely. We've got a horizontal staff that is read vertically, but when we play on the piano, we're playing horizontally. So there's a whole lot happening in the brain, and I do have a video on the brain and music and all that goes on in there, which I can put a link to this. So, how do we get them to do their practice? How do we get their bum on the piano bench every day and make it fun, right? Think about how hard it is for us to do some things, that we need to do every day, right? And we get up and we do it because we have to. So kids need a nudge, they need a push, they need encouragement. The first thing you need to do, and we're going to talk about brushing your teeth again, is make it routine. So when they're a baby, you take them in the bathroom with their little soft toothbrush every day and you're brushing their teeth. And you have them in your arms and you're doing it for them. Gradually that they take it and they start away themselves. And as a parent, if you don't want to have a lot of dental bills, you're in there and you're trying to make sure they get the back molars. And this goes on for years, right? This goes on, even 5-year-olds need help, right? To get those teeth brushed. So now they're starting a new activity at 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, even 9. They need a routine and they need to be treated like a baby because they need to learn the routine. They need to learn what it is and how to do it, and that it's a must-happen thing, right? You have a bedtime routine probably for your child. Maybe they, you start at maybe 7:15 for an 8 o'clock bedtime, right? And you get them to brush their teeth and they get their pajamas on and they have their bedtime story and then they're in bed by 8 o'clock. At least mine were, right? We teach them to catch the bus in the morning. They have to be ready at a certain time. You're the parent. You can teach them how to have a routine with piano as well. It's just exactly the same thing, only you have to start as if they're like babies and you have to be their big support. They don't have an idea what practice is until they experience it. And even then, practice is basically a progressive thing. So how you practice when you're a beginner and 6 years old is not going to fly when you're 10 or 12 and you're playing more advanced repertoire. And neither is that going to work when you're 15 and you're prepping for an exam. So we need to teach them what practice is. It's daily, it's focused, it's repetitive. And once we hone that skill, then it's fun. Okay? We don't want to tell them it's work though. Okay? Even though it is work, we want to show them this in a positive and uplifting manner. So you need to pick a time of day to practice. Make it the same time every day, if at all possible. You can tie it to another activity so you won't forget, they won't forget, and you're involved in this. So you have to have the time to do this, right? You're as involved as they are. You can do it right after breakfast, after supper. I used to come home from school. I had a very long bus ride. We were out at 3:30. I got home at 4:45. I had 15 minutes, had a snack, boom, on the keys at 5 o'clock every night. Okay? You can do this. You just need to schedule it in. When you schedule it in, make it 30 minutes. Even if they're only 6 and they're doing 15 minutes, make it 30 minutes because you're going to get them up to 30 minutes. At some point, you might as well schedule that in now rather than having to readjust. For young ones or restless kids, sometimes it's good to break it up. So you can do 5 minutes times 3, okay? Or 10 minutes times 2. Or you can do 3 reps of each song and go back and do 2 more reps. So here is something. I say you need to be a part of it, and most parents will say, but I don't know anything about piano. I can't help them. Yes, you can. Don't think that you're incapable of being your child's parent and helper, okay? So how, okay? How you speak about going to piano. If you can keep it positive in your household, that's really important. How about how you speak about going to the piano and doing the practice has to be positive. So if I say, Oh, we got to get our practicing done. Okay, well, they're going to get the idea, oh, it's work. But if you say, hey, you know what? Let's go do our piano practice. Did you hear that? Let's, you and me, go do our piano practice. You're not alone, kid. I'm with you. Okay? This is really important. They don't feel alone. Learning piano is a lonely activity, especially as you get older and you are working on your own. It's a very single-minded, activity. It's unless you're working in a group setting or a duet setting, you're going to be alone. But when you're young, you don't want to be alone. You don't want to be sent to the basement to do your practice all by yourself with the spiders or with it's cold or it's whatever down there. It's dark. I don't want to go to the basement and do it on my own. I don't want to sit in my room all by myself. They want to be out with you. They want you to hear it. They want your help. And they will do better if they have it, right? If they have your interest. Okay, so use the assignment book. That's what it's there for. You can read for them what they're to do. You can ask them, which one do you want to start with? Oh, the flyer. Let's do this one. You can show the excitement and show them you're interested and okay, you remember how to start? Okay, well, that looks good to me. That looks good. Do you want me to point the notes? I saw Mary pointing the notes. Does that help? Can I point the notes? They're 6, they can't track. That's why I point the notes. Tracking is the ability for the eyes to work independently and follow a line. This is why when they are reading, they put their little finger on the page and they follow along like that. It's called tracking. Okay, I didn't really understand this. Okay, so we need to do the tracking for them, and you can have a little magic pencil. Make sure it's a long one, or else you'll break your arm trying to do it. And you just follow along underneath their music, and you'll, if they say, no, Mom, I'm not there, then they'll, okay, or you're too far ahead, Mom, I didn't do that right. Then just follow along, let them tell you what to do. It's okay, all right? You can be encouraging words. You can say, oh, good start. Oh, Mary says to do it 5 times. Let's do it 3 times. Let's see, you did it once. I'm going to help you do it 2 more times. Let's do it 2 more times, and then we'll go do a different one, right? So we don't get bored. Oh, that went better. That sounded nice. I kind of like this song. You're doing really well. Keep it positive all the time, all the time. Just think of how you would like to be treated. If you were learning something new, you would like encouraging words, right? You can help them get set up. You can help them get out their music. You can read the assignment book. You can laugh and enjoy the process and encourage them. And think about how you'd like to be spoken to. Just think about if you made a really nice meal and you spend a lot of time making it, and then people come in and all they say is, your kitchen is such a mess. And yeah, but did you enjoy the meal? Yeah, my kitchen's a mess, yeah. But, did you enjoy the meal? Right? Or they say, well, you didn't clean up the papers. How come the house is such a mess? Well, I made a really nice meal for supper. Could you just not say the meal was really nice and ignore the other stuff? Or you could maybe say, I can help you clean up the mess, right? So, maybe you spent the day cleaning up papers and tidying the house, and supper's a little late, and all they come in and they say, so where's supper? How come? And they don't even notice the good stuff you've done. See, we need to find the good things with kids. They're inundated at school with, you did this wrong, this is wrong, that's wrong, this isn't right. Why did you act up? Why did you do that? This is wrong. Can you not sit down? Okay. Find the good things. Encourage those first. You've got to have 3 building comments to every one that says, I wonder, did you hold the 2-beat notes like Mary suggested? Or, now Mary did say 5 times, and you're sort of saying no to that. Well, let's try and do that. You know, just keep it positive, right? They respond to that. As soon as I have a kid come in, I'll tell you, I have kids come in playing like this. Oh, it's so difficult for them. And then I'll catch them and they'll do this. They'll have one finger that's right. Stop. Look at that one finger. Look at it. Look how wonderful it is. It's perfect. I'll make a big deal out of that. Then the next thing I know, this finger's doing it, and that finger is doing it, and this finger's doing it. And you do have to remember, these are kids. They forget. They need to be told about 3 zillion times, and you have to be super patient saying the same thing over and over. So imagine me as a teacher having a whole night of, like, say, 6 or 8 beginner children coming in, and they're playing all the same songs. They're all playing those first 5 songs in the Lila Fletcher book. And I feel like a broken record. Seriously, I say the same things. It's a 2-beat note. Remember to say 2. And I have to be patient for the last child as much as I was for the first one. And I am a broken record because I know the next week I'm going to say the same thing again. Exactly the same way. Kind, okay? And I was going to make a cup of tea. And I was going to show you my mug. As it says, do all things with kindness. And I think as parents, we also have to do that. Just try to keep it positive. And I'm going to make another video. And it's not just going to be about comments being positive. It's about how you can actually make physical things you can do to make your time at home with your child fun. Things you can add to your repertoire of tricks, so to speak, to get them. I've had 5 children. All of them play piano. 3 of them relatively seriously, or 4. And so I've learned a few tricks, and I do not think that it's bad to use incentives for kids. They like to have, I like to have incentives, if someone is in a work environment, like maybe some of you work, or your husband's work, I think your husband or you respond to incentives at work better than you do criticism, right? So if a company really wants their employees to do a particular thing, for instance, finish this project, then they will give incentives for overtime. They will give overtime. They will give incentives. If you can finish this by Friday, then we're going to give you, trip to Tahiti. I don't know. But usually there'll be some sort of incentive, right? Especially if they really want something done. It's always works with people. It's so much better than saying, okay, if you don't finish this by Friday, I'm going to dock your pay by like $300 if you don't finish this project by Friday. And you go like, huh? What? But if you finish this project by Friday and you have to spend some overtime, we'll give you overtime to get it done. Okay, I'll take overtime, time and a half, sure. I'll work those few extra hours that it needs to get it done. If you can finish this project by Friday, then we're going to give you Monday morning off. You can come in late. Great incentive. Hey, I'd love to sleep in on a Monday morning, wouldn't you? So just small incentives like that, and some of them don't have to cost you an arm and a leg either. They're just little incentives, little things you can do to help your child want to go to the piano. Okay, and I've done them with my own kids. Things that just make it a little more fun. You can change it up. Okay, and that's it. So now you know my expectations, and you know you're gonna fail. We're parents. We're humans. We're gonna fail. We're just gonna fail. And your kid's gonna fail. And it's not the end of the world. You're not going to practice 5 days a week every single week. There's going to be weeks it might be 3. There's going to be weeks it might be 4. And there's going to be, hopefully, lots of weeks that is 5. But if your child is only practicing at their lesson, or if your child is only playing their songs once when they practice every day, or if your child is just going to the piano once in the week, and you will find that they're not gonna progress. And with those kids, I work laterally. We keep songs for about 3 weeks, sometimes 4, and then I move them on. And I work laterally with them. We just do different songs because I get tired of it. They get tired of it, and they feel discouraged. But they feel discouraged because they haven't put any work in. No one has taught them how. And it's our job as adults to do that. That's just a plain fact. And so I hope this encourages you as a parent that, yes, there are things I can do. Even though I don't know middle C from a hole in the ground, maybe my kid can tell me where it is. You know, even though I can't hum a tune. I was told to say quiet in the choir when we had choir. You know, those kind of things. That's okay. There's lots of other things you can do. Encourage them, right? Keep it positive. Keep it happy. And if you're fighting with your child to get them to the piano, and you find yourself using, you better do what Mary says or else, you know, well, it's not going to get them there. It's not. They're not going to respond well to that. I don't. You know, I wouldn't respond well to my husband saying, you better get this house cleaned up or else. I just wouldn't bother cleaning the house. And I say, tough, you do it. Right? It's just me. And a lot of kids are the same way, especially nowadays. Maybe not in the old days. I used to hop to it. My parents told me to, but not now. Okay? Keep it positive. It's a much happier experience. And I think we want to make it happy as they are learning. Okay? So good luck. Hope this helps.